Hello viewers, today we will be cleaning a set of AT&T cordless telephones. This is a model EP5632. So the first thing we're going to do is remove all the batteries. This battery I think is spoiled. And we're going to disconnect the cords here. And I'm going to remove the wall mount bracket. Or not necessarily wall mount, just the bracket. It could be used for wall mount or table standing. Unplug the power from our cradle here. And now we are ready to begin. I'll start with one of the handsets. We're going to have 4 screws to remove from the back. With those screws removed, we can now begin to split it apart. And this is very thin and flimsy, so we want to use some caution here. I'm going to grab a small flat blade screwdriver. Spludger would be better, but this is what I have on hand. I'm going to try to release that clip. There's going to be a clip right around there somewhere that's holding it in. There we go. And I want to do that on the other side. It's already undone. Okay, I should be able to take that apart the rest of the way now. Oh, fun. Look at this. It's going to be, the battery contacts are, let's see, are those removable? Well, perhaps they are. Let's see what we can do about those. It would be nice if they just pull out. Oh, they do. Okay, never mind. That's not bad at all. Okay. So we'll notate that the red goes on the right. And remove the screws for the speaker. Okay, so that can be washed along with that and that. And now we have 2 screws up at the top. Now I'm noticing there's 2 antennas up here at the top. I originally thought that this was a single band phone, and perhaps it's still, I mean, I guess it could be. The antennas do seem to be pretty comparable, but usually when there's 2 antennas, it's a dual band phone. Looks like this says receive on there, so maybe one is transmit and one's receive, I don't know. Anyways, so there's that. Here's the board. It actually looks like a pretty good quality board. The contacts are gold plated, and yeah, so there's that. Now, I've mentioned in other videos that I really don't like these number pads, and this is exactly why. It's held on by this little flimsy piece of plastic, and Uniden seemed to have made it well enough that it doesn't break, but VTech or AT&T, I have these break on me all the time. And now it still works, okay? When we put it back together, it's not going to, be a criticality, especially because, oh no, wait, hold on, what? Okay, that was weird. Oh jeez, now it's on the floor. Ugh, button freak show. It's just never going to press as nicely as it should, because now it's not perfectly aligned. It's a stupid design, but that's what it is. So, this crazy contraption here, looks like that'll come off, and then, will that come off of there? I don't think that's intended to come off, but that's fine, we can clean it from there. And then there's the front of the handset. So, we'll go ahead and get the other three apart now. Okay, now on to the bases. Cradles are usually pretty simple. Probably just this one screw will open it up. It just barely gets through where the charging light's in the way. It's kind of a dopey design. But there's that. This bit's a little bit too small for these screws. They're actually quite large. Come on. Oh, this one's going to be fun to get open. Okay, so the seam is on the back here, it's not on the side, so trying to even get the clips loose is going to be interesting. Oh, there's another screw in there. That's too short, that's too fat. Ah, there we go. Much better. Okay, now we can take all these disassembled parts over to the sink and wet wash them. Alright, all the shells have been cleaned and the buttons have been cleaned. Now we're going to take a look at the dial boards, which they look very clean, but since there were sensitivity issues, I'm going to clean them anyways. So this will be a standard procedure here with the isoprensyl alcohol as seen on the screen now. There don't seem to be any contaminants that were really lifted off the board. I'm not surprised because they seem pretty clean. So hopefully between that cleaning and the cleaning of the rubber pad itself, the button connectivity will be restored. If not, we'll try something else. Now we're going to reassemble the handsets. This one we have to address a button issue, and that is the broken numbers. So I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to put the number 7 in. Okay, it's in the wrong place. I'll put the number 7 in, and I'm going to show what the problem is here with it being like that. Because normally, actually let's put the board in for the sake of accuracy. Okay, so we press these buttons, and they press relatively quietly, except for number 7. Got like that click to it. This piece of plastic here, which normally would have held it, is now getting caught on this little tab here at the end of the button, and that's what makes that clicking sound. It makes it kind of stick a little bit. So to fix that, I'm just going to cut that off, because I've tried to repair it in the sense that, like, you put it back on and it never lasts. So I'm going to cut that little tab off, and we're going to put it back in. I've already done that to number 4. I'll put number 4 back in. These do not want to align correctly. Why is this being so difficult? Okay. So now we'll put this on, and we're going to find that the buttons, you can tell they're not perfectly aligned the way they should be, and they never will be without that little tab. But they press pretty quietly now. There's not really any difference between those and the rest of the number pad. So this will functionally work just fine being like this. Okay, so now we have our 2 screws up at the top. And before I do that other side, we got to put the volume switch in. And you want to make sure these little rubber tabs are in the holes, so that's aligned up, and then this goes like that. Okay, and the dog is providing some unwanted commentary. Okay, so these go in like this. And we have a gasket for the speaker. And 2 screws over the speaker. And this one's a little tricky with that wire in the way. Okay, and that should be everything. That looks good. It's working. All the buttons are working. Okay, that just leaves these 4 screws on the back. Okay, that's the handset. Get the other 2 put back together, and then we'll move on to the base. An objective with the base was to have as little of the buttons fall out as possible, and generally speaking that was accomplished relatively well. We only had a handful of things fall out. Let's see, how does this go? Here it goes like that. And this is exactly why I wanted to avoid it, because some of these things are really a nuisance to get back into place. It doesn't seem like it's sitting quite right. Yes, it is. And this outlining from the screen, that black material, has degraded with time and is very, what's the way I describe it, almost like dusty. And if anything hits it, a black dust comes off and it gets on the screen, and it's very difficult to get it out. So I'm going to make sure that we don't have anything contact that during the reassembly process. From looking at the handset antenna, I thought this was going to be a single band phone, and the manual seems to suggest that. However, it's noteworthy that we have 2 antennas here, and then we have a third over here, which I believe is probably for the Bluetooth. So I'm not really sure if this is a dual band phone or not. See that black dust up there at the top left is what I was mentioning before. It's just borderline impossible to get rid of it. It was much worse when we started, so I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay, the reassembly is complete, as is the cleaning and its little power adapters. So let's plug this up and see what we have here. Came out pretty good. Base looks like it's going to be okay. And the handsets. That's cool. Okay. Let's put some batteries in here. Cover doesn't fit on there too well. Searching for base. Found base. Okay. There we go. It took some time, but it found it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this Ebel battery in this handset, and I'm going to let this charge for a while and see if it'll take. Okay, so that looks promising. They're pretty clean. There's some wear on this one, the flash and whatever. I think it was a cancel was kind of worn off, but otherwise they're not too bad. Okay, maybe that battery isn't any good. Anyways, I'll let that charge up for a while and then we'll do the final checkout.